Hey, thanks for watching our news update this week. We're going to cover the last couple weeks of tax investing news across 17 states in Parcel Fair. Most of it is going to be new auctions, auction updates, new properties, and then we're going to cover some over-the-counter news, as well as some of the markets that are kind of colder this time of year. We'll discuss those and how you can still shop in the off-season on those. So we're going to demonstrate using Parcel Fair, and if you want to jump between states or markets, you can use the chapters in YouTube at the bottom of the screen. And with that, let's just go ahead and get started. So first off, let's talk about our market totals. In the last couple of weeks, we've added over 60,000 properties to Parcel Fair for you to research. 57,702 of those were tax liens. About 1,400 of those were tax deeds. 818 were foreclosure, and 102 in various land banks. And if you break that down by state, you look and you see like the OTC ads in Florida really took the lead here for the OTC properties, and the other ones were a lot fewer in the OTC, just kind of smaller. This is because we uncovered a couple small counties in Florida that we did not have lists for before, so those counties have now been added. So 3,119 properties added over the counter. As far as auctions broken down by state, Arizona had the most additions at 38,287. Indiana is starting to warm up with 16,414 tax auction properties added this week. About almost exactly half of that was Lake County alone. That many additions. Florida and Ohio, those are going to be more like the foreclosure and deed sheriff sales across those two states. New Jersey, tax lien, 428 auction properties added. North Carolina, they're ongoing year-round. These are tax deed, foreclosure sales, 39 of those. And then Alabama, we're tracking some preview lists there, and we added thousands at the beginning of the month, and only 5 properties in the last couple of weeks. They've been kind of quiet, but we're still tracking those and adding more. If you break down the foreclosures by state, we had 559 properties added in Florida, 160 in Indiana, and 99 in Colorado, for a total 818 new foreclosure properties added. And while we're talking about the totals and kind of overlooking here, the new auctions for 2024 that are now available, we did release a video earlier this month to help you through that auction planning for the year. Those auctions, they're changing daily, literally, and some of them are added. Like we added 282 new auctions in the last couple weeks. But there's also the properties within those auctions are being added and removed daily. Sometimes you have late additions, but more often you have removals where the owner has paid their taxes and redeemed the property, which means it will not be going to auction. So you'll see those removed. But in the last couple weeks, we have added 56,000 auction properties alone, 56,137 to be exact. And again, talking high level here about auctions throughout the year, the video we made for auction planning covers this slide in a lot of detail. But if you're thinking about the whole year, but let's talk about just the beginning and what we're focusing on. You'll notice Arizona is our first state that we're really hitting hard this year, between lien and deed, kind of surplus auctions there. And the rest of the year is pretty cold with OTCs. But we're also really going to focus on Indiana. They have the spring commissioner sales coming up, and those are really starting to show up and be useful for research now. So we'll go through that today as well. You'll notice at the bottom we have, Florida has deed and foreclosure year-round, Colorado, and then New Jersey, North Carolina, Tennessee, Ohio. They do have auctions year-round, so we're going to cover some of that too on this video. But if you want to see in detail about the whole year, we do have that auction planning video that was released a few weeks ago on this YouTube channel. Should be easy to find. So let's talk about Arizona on that note. The 2024 auction season has begun because the lists have been advertised. Most of them, I would say. We still have a few that we're waiting on. But they use a bid down interest format that starts at 16% interest and gives you a 3-year foreclosable tax lien. You would need to probably go into more depth than that. We have videos, especially the one that just released last week, that covers Arizona's auction preview. That's going to give you the first of the counties that released their lists. So in 1 week, we've already seen more counties released. So that video was almost instantly out of date. But the counties that are covered in that video are still very relevant. There's just more counties on the site now that you can still get to. So if you want to learn more about Arizona, that's a great place to go. we'll cover a little bit here in a second, but they do have over-the-counter tax liens available. Some counties do close their books this time of year for about a month, and it's just leading up to the auction. I think it helps them manage the auction and the lead up by not trying to sell over the counters during the auction season. Also, don't forget we have a scouting service now in Arizona. Some friends of ours that are Parcel Fair customers will actually take some photos and video for you out there. On the website, I'll show you in a second, you can engage them directly. They are debuting the service in Maricopa, Coconino, and Cochise counties. All right, that was a mouthful. So let's jump over and take a look at Arizona. So first off, you'll see there was an auction in January. It was actually today. We'll take a quick peek at it because this was one of the random surplus auctions that popped up. And so real quick, you'll notice there's 1,700 parcels available when we click that link. I didn't filter by the auction, but we can do that and filter right here in the inventory to the deed auction, the surplus auction. And now we're looking at just those properties, the 197 that were in that. And what's interesting about this auction is it uses, well, first of all, let's find a property. And so you can kind of get a peek at these properties here just by viewing like that. But this auction is, if we go through here, it's actually on publicsurplus.com. And we have links to take you to that list if you want to see what's in the auction. Of course, this auction only has an hour and 27 minutes left. So, it's a bit late to be trying to get into this auction, but for future reference, you will see some surplus auctions on our site. So let's close out that particular auction and talk about those tax lien auctions that are now in season. Let's just minimize January. Here's some big ones coming up, 6 in February. These are all pretty big auctions. The smallest one's 1,300 parcels. The biggest one, 12,000 available parcels right now. And let's just do, we're going to filter only properties in this auction. When we click this option instead of the one above it, it's going to hide the over-the-counter liens and only show us what's in the auction. So if you want to really focus on an auction, you probably want to hit that button so you don't see everything. It just saves you a step, so you don't have to go filter it. But let's go view our county borders here. And so Maricopa, it's an odd-shaped county right here in covers Phoenix, Scottsdale, Glendale, and it even goes south into kind of a rural area. And I'm viewing this with just the regular map view just for contrast, but if you wanted to, you could view the satellite here and in the top left. That gives you the satellite imagery. I find myself skipping back and forth quite a bit. If I want to see details of a property, I definitely want to go satellite imagery. But if I want to see nice contrast where on a white background like that, I will just click on the map. So clicking through here, let's just take a look at a few properties. You can see some vacant land, 1.8 acres here. It has one tax lien available for $3,400. It's valued at $334,000. And if we wanted to buy it, we would click on this upcoming auction button inside of the purchase options. This is the most important section probably of this report is how do I buy this property? This block called purchase options will tell you how. Click on that link or the button and you will see that this auction is February 6, 10 a.m. on Real Auction. You can click this link to register and click this one to preview the items in the auction. And there's a lot of stuff going on with their site once you're in there to set your bidding, set your account up. So this really gets you to that property, and then you can start doing that advanced bidding and really follow your strategy once you're on Real Auction. And that's going to be every property in this auction. So no matter where we click, let's just take a random sampling over here. This property also, one tax lien available. It's also on Real Auction. In particular, this one looks like a unit of a condo. It's always good to read the legal information here because you're not buying this whole building. You'll see you're buying the unit. In fact, you're really not buying the unit. You're buying a lien on the unit in 3 years that you would be able to foreclose on if they do not pay their taxes. So you're buying a lien on a unit of this building, not this giant building. So that's a quick snapshot of Arizona. If you did want to see over the counter, you could click your search filters. I'm going to hit over the counter right here. Do you see that in the inventory box? Now we're filtered down to 1,700 properties. And again, this time of year, you might get some pushback from the county if you go through these steps and try to buy using the purchase form. They might tell you to wait until after the auction. It's been hit or miss with several of the counties. So, but yeah, I think it's reasonable to say you can expect the over-the-counters to take a bit of a hiatus this time of year when they close the books. So that's everything for Arizona. Again, we did a video last week that goes into more detail. Here are the 6 biggest counties right now running auctions. There's also a tax deed auction in March for Yuma, but you will see more auctions pop up. My biggest gripe, I would say, about Arizona is that you don't get a ton of notice when an auction comes up. Some of them release, a month in advance, but some of them you only have a couple weeks notice, so you have to research quickly. And that's where we're going to help you out with Parcel Fair quite a bit, is you can do those filters. And let's just show you, let's go back to the Maricopa auction. Actually, let's do a different one. Let's go Coconino. And let's see, if we go something like this, let's say improvements only, you can see we narrowed the list down to 263. Let's do $50,000 or more, 231 properties. And now let's pick out-of-state owners. So we have owners that are out of state, properties worth at least 50 grand that have structures on them. So we just took it down to 27 properties. If we really wanted to filter down, that's the quickest way I can show you instead of clicking through a few thousand links. And now we've narrowed directly to a property here that if that was your strategy, was to get something with a structure or something that's improved, we've cut you right down to the answer here. So yeah, that's the fastest way to study for those auctions. Okay, we're going to switch gears and talk about Indiana. We mentioned that spring commissioner's sale auction season is starting up. We have 14 spring auctions now available to research. This was a big week because Lake County showed up. Actually, it was last week. Lake County showed up. They're always the largest auction in the state with about 8,200 properties this time. And the auction starts April 8th, so you still have plenty of time to research. And don't forget, in Indiana, we will look at the liens here in a second auction, but they have foreclosure auctions too. So we had 44 scheduled for January, at least 38 more foreclosure auctions in February. But in the meantime, let's jump over to our, actually, I'm on the wrong screen. So for starters, we can go to the Indiana auction calendar. And we're looking at 2024, but I want to filter those foreclosure auctions out. So let's take a look at tax auctions only. And when I click that, now we're seeing just those upcoming tax auctions. So this is a great way to browse and see how many properties are in each one. But then, of course, like I mentioned, Lake County is going to take the cake here with 8,200 properties. I already have a map open with it. So let's go look at Lake County. It's the top western corner of Indiana, next to Chicago, and really a suburb of Chicago. Gary, Indiana is one of the major cities that you're going to see there. And we're looking at the 8,200 parcels on our map right now. And like I showed you a moment ago, you probably don't want to click every one of these and do research on 8,200 properties. So let's jump straight to our search filters. I'm going to do something different and do this time, instead of looking for structures, I'm going to look for vacant land. This may be absolutely not your strategy, but I'm going to look at vacant land worth at least $20,000. And that took it down to 89 properties. Wow. So 99% of the results were filtered out, and now looking at the 89 properties that have that sort of value. So this is an example where I am definitely going to go to satellite view and see why. I don't know why that property, half an acre, is worth $24,000, but there must be something appealing about it. Let's take a look at this corner property here. This is a vacant lot. Must be a nicer area because 0.17 acres is getting $22,000 from at least the county valuation on that property. And we'll scroll on the right side and see some of the nicer looking properties here. There's a 2.5 acres. Well, that's CSX Transportation, the train line. I think that's going to be an odd property to get your hands on. I don't know what you could do with a shape like that. It's like an arrow almost. So yeah, that property. But this is kind of the funny stuff you find. Maybe you have a strategy for buying train track, but I don't know what that would be. if it's there. There's Norfolk Southern Real Estate right above it. So literally, CSX and Norfolk side by side. I don't know what's going on there, but clearly that's train property. And let's just see if there's anything else interesting. There's a 9.6 acre property, maybe subdividable. I don't know. It looks like it's near a subdivision, and it's only valued at $20,000. So there may be something wrong with it, but it could be something to look at if you are a vacant land type of investor. And if we flip this on its head again, we can always do the improvements, and that's going to give us buildings with structures of at least $20,000. That matches 313 properties, so that may be more your speed. And then you can see something like this. A lot of people love the rental properties in this area, so this immediately takes you to a rental property, potential rental property that you can look at. If you want to bid on this property, it's going to be online with Zeus Auction, but Onyx Electronics are the ones that are hosting the list. So if you click on register the tax sale, you go to Zeus. If you click on the list, you go to this website with Onyx Electronics, where you have these 2 Excel files that we use to understand what's in the auction at any given time. So that's top to bottom how you would research Indiana, Lake County in particular. Obviously that really can transfer over to other counties. You don't have to invest in Lake County. I will say the commissioner sales, from what I hear, they are, they're by the numbers, they are smaller than the fall sales. That's because the fall sales debut the newly delinquent properties, and the spring sales really cover leftovers and repeat leftovers from previous auctions before that. So it's kind of a snowball of the leftovers over the years. I think that's why you see so much land, like it was 7,000 out of 8,000 properties were vacant land. So great opportunities there. The commissioner sales in the spring are very appealing to investors. A lot of folks like to get them because of the short redemption. I believe it's 120 days on these liens before you can start your foreclosure process, and that's pretty quick, especially for a tax lien if you think about it. All right, so let's go back to the slideshow here and move to Tennessee. So Tennessee has year-round auction seasons. Here's a quick snapshot of it. We just had the Davidson auction on January 17th. I need to stop joking about it because every time I joke about it, they cancel it. They cancel like 9 out of 10 auctions in Davidson, which is Nashville. So sure enough, the 17th was canceled. But then we had on the 27th one in Oak Ridge, Norris on GovEase. We have one today in Wayne County on GovEase. I don't know if you were able to participate in that, but we'd love to hear your results if you did. February 6th, coming right up, is McNairy County on GovEase. And then March 5th is a large auction on Shelby County, which is Memphis, Tennessee. That will be on Civic Source. And you can look at all these auctions on our site. I would point out Knox County. We do have some updates coming. There is a preliminary list for a 2024 auction. It looks like they had a winter auction scheduled. They took it down, removed some properties, and put it back up. And now the date and time are TBD. So we're waiting on that official announcement. In the meantime, you can view those properties. And then the last note about Tennessee is there's always over-the-counter properties with the Shelby Land Bank. Again, that's Memphis, Tennessee. So that was a lot to cover. So let's unpack it. I keep going to that screen. I mean to go to this one. Let's unpack this piece at a time. So Tennessee, on the Tennessee auction calendar, there's Davidson was canceled. Oak Ridge just completed. And we have Wayne County today with 12 parcels. Then you have upcoming auctions in McNairy, Shelby, and Knox. If we did just kind of pencil in Knox on May 1st because May 1st is just a placeholder date until they give us a real date. And so if we click on, that we can, goodness, I lost it. There he is. So here is Knox County, and this is Knoxville, Tennessee. And if we go to the, just kind of zooming in, you can see the yellow outlines are the properties in the tax auction, at least as of now. So let's do our usual filtering here. Let's take a look at improvements. It's actually 2/3 or about 3/4 of them do have improvements, which is going to be a structure. And let's put a minimum value at $50,000. See where that takes us. And let's pick out-of-state owners again, because that's a good... Oh, no out-of-state owners. Maybe out-of-city owners? No. Let's try something... let's do minimum of half an acre, maybe. That'll narrow it down. See, they got it down to 90 properties. And when you look at it that way, we can see that some of these are closer to the residential areas. This is an interesting half-acre property with a house on it and in the suburb here. Let's take a look and see what else we find. I always like to look at the outskirts. Tennessee is beautiful in the mountains here, so maybe this area. Some type of development going on here with 29 acres. So that's up for the auction so far. Again, it may get redeemed beforehand, but as of now, it's being advertised. And there's two other ones here at half an acre. And if you wanted to buy this property, we know it's vacant and the valuation here. But if we're going to click on the auction, again, it's date and time TBD, location TBD. So just stay tuned for Knox County. We'll get to that as soon as those announcements happen. And just kind of to brush over some of the other stuff, if we look at Shelby County, which is the Memphis area, I can view all the properties available right now. It's a mixture of that upcoming auction plus their over-the-counter properties, which means you're going to see yellow and blue properties available. The yellow properties are in the upcoming auction, and the blue properties they're technically from the Shelby Land Bank. We call those over the counter because it's not an auction. You basically are going to buy those from the Shelby Land Bank and follow these instructions to do it and continue to the application. But it's nice that there's two solid ways to buy in Memphis right now, both the auction that was coming up plus the over the counters as well. All right, let's take a look at North Carolina. We did a video on this about a month ago. And it was an introduction to North Carolina tax deed auctions. They do them differently than every other state, or not every other state, but at least from the states that you're familiar with on our website. So they have three types of auction properties that we're tracking. That's the pending auctions are not yet scheduled. We don't have a date and not necessarily an amount even yet that it's going to be a starting bid, but we know that they are coming up. You have the scheduled auctions where we know the date and the price. And you have the upset bid auctions, which are really just a continuation of the scheduled auctions where someone has placed and won the bid, but there's a couple weeks where you could still go in and place a higher bid to upset that high bid. And on our site, I'll show you in a second how to filter between those, but we are tracking those new properties every week. And I'd say the easiest way to do this is always going to be starting off with our auction calendar. And let's just go to February. We have a tax auction here in Mecklenburg. These are kind of small. Cherokee, looking for a good example here. Let's just check out Mecklenburg. And we'll do all the properties at once. So there's 80 available that we know of. And let's take a look. Let's see. You'll notice properties in blue that are pending auction. So these are pending scheduling. We don't know when they're going to be scheduled yet, but they're on the docket. And then you'll see other ones that are in yellow. Oh, that one's not a good. Oh, let's take a look. Oh, this one is upcoming auction. Oh, it's because it's an upset bid. That's why. Okay. So this one already went to auction, has a high bid placed, and we know that the starting bid is now $68,000 for this property. So the upset bid would be essentially to go through Mecklenburg and the attorney that handled the auction and place your bid on that property. Again, there's a video that covers a lot more of this in depth. Please check it out on our channel if you want to learn more about North Carolina. That's a great resource to get in deeper. Moving on to New Jersey, we thought this was like the auction season that would never end, and we kept saying the auction season continues. It was fall, then winter, and now maybe into spring. But here we are in January at the end, and we only have one auction left. February 16th is the only advertised auction that we're tracking, and so maybe we're going to see a break finally in New Jersey auctions. We're not going to cover a lot about New Jersey today. You can check out our video that covers New Jersey auctions for more information there. We're just going to take a brief look at our auction calendar so you can see Stafford is coming up And if you want to see all the properties from this auction, we would click that link. And this is a nice waterside area. There's a community with a lot of space here. It looks a little like canal houses, and a lot of these built on the water are in the auction. If you wanted to see more details, you could do that. The lien is $582. You can see it here as well. And then if you wanted to bid on it, here's the instructions to register, and then the list of where we found it. So yeah, that's, if you want to know more about New Jersey, there's another video that covers it in much more detail, but that's enough to show you that we have one auction on the schedule right now, and if that changes, we'll let you know. Let's talk about Alabama next. We call it tax auction preview season. That's just because we don't have official lists yet, but we have some delinquency lists that you can research, and the auction advertisement will be pretty close to what is in the delinquency list. We will see more official advertised lists show up around February, March. And also, that side note, there's a lot of ways to buy in Alabama year-round, arguably the strongest OTC market. And this is the general calendar for the year. You'll notice we have lists available for lien and cert auctions right now, the real auctions coming up, and then an off-season. For OTC liens, certs, and deeds, they're available year-round. We get some new releases in the summer, and then still available year-round at the end. And then resellers and land banks, they actually add new inventory year-round, so you don't have to wait for that at all. And just as a reminder, we are here. We are in January, where the lists are becoming available leading up to the auctions. Just a brief look at Alabama's auction calendar. You can see what we have so far. Just a chunk of counties here that you can check out. We could, let's just map all the properties in Calhoun County. This is going to show us everything that is auction or over the counter. And it's a large county, large inventory. If we kind of break it apart here, you can see sort of like Memphis, we have a mixture of those deed properties are in blue that you could buy from the Alabama Department of Revenue, and the auction properties are in yellow for contrast. They're all mixed in here. Let's walk through one of the over-the-counter properties really quick. So this small house here, you could go to the Alabama Department of Revenue, continue the application with this green button, and request a price quote for that property, of which you could then decide whether you're going to buy the tax deed or not. It's a quick form to fill out. You will wait longer on the price quote, though. These are in high demand, so a lot of the, especially if there's a structure on it in a popular county, you could be waiting months even for a price quote from the Department of Revenue. Vacant land in smaller counties tend to come out quicker if that's in your strategy. But yeah, that's Calhoun County. A lot of properties to look at here. If we were going to do our search, we would probably go improvements first. Let's see what's over $100,000. That cuts it down to 1,500 properties. And if we choose out-of-state owners, we've knocked it down to 130 properties. And so now we've really cut it down to properties that are appealing that may not redeem. And I say that because the owner is out of state, and that just seems to, this owner's in California, so it's possible that you'd have a higher chance of not redeeming. Okay, so moving on, we'll cover Florida. Not a lot of new stuff to talk about. They are starting to publish some dates for their lien auctions in May, June, but they have not advertised the list yet. We do have tax deed auctions year-round, 44 of those scheduled in February, 54 in January. And foreclosure auctions year-round as well, 297 of those coming up in February, quite a few. And we do have strong over-the-counter tax lien market in Florida. A not-so-strong tax deed over-the-counter market. There's a few of those. But let's check out Florida's auction calendar. It is by far and away the busiest calendar you're going to see. This is one day, all the auctions happening in February. So there's smaller auctions, but remember, we're looking at foreclosures and deeds at the same time. So let's take a look at just the deed auctions only. And that really cut it down. You look at February now, it's much more manageable if you're buying deeds to look at the auctions coming up. And if we wanted to see what's in one of these auctions, let's go to Hillsborough County and map those 11 properties. And so now we can take a look at some of this and say, there's a property that's coming up, or this one, and let's view it in more detail. This is going to be, it looks like a unit of this building, and the deed auction details are here. You can register or view the tax information with these buttons, and that's how you would go bid on this tax deed. Same process if you wanted to do foreclosures, just filter by foreclosure sales, and then pick your sale and do the same thing. If we want to see OTCs, let's go in our inventory filter and choose over the counter. And actually, let's pick a different county. Let's go to, I think Escambia has some good OTCs. Well, 31, not many, but these are over the counter liens that you could browse through here. And same process there. You click the details, view that there are 2 tax liens available for this property, and you could purchase by following these instructions on our website, which takes you to Lien Hub to buy the lien. All right, that's a good snapshot of Florida for now. We'll see more on that as their auction season gets closer. Colorado, the tax lien auction season completed in the fall, and so we are adding OTC still. There's already some on the website. We're also tracking foreclosure auctions in Colorado, and we have a video that covers off-season investing. In that video, you'll see basically this, Colorado foreclosure sales on the website. And if we want to map that auction, we can do that. Then we can view the over-the-counter properties if we want to do that. Let's go to Jefferson County. I think it has a lot of OTCs. And view the over-the-counter properties that way. So yeah, the same filters as other states and counties are available here if you want to browse the over-the-counter properties or those foreclosure auctions right now in Colorado. Next, let's talk about Mississippi. It's still in the over-the-counter season, even though the spring auctions are coming up in April. We do have a healthy OTC market with 7,600 OTCs. They are available year-round. We didn't see as many added in January as we did in December, only 34. Oh, I got ahead of myself. So if you want to see those properties, Mississippi, the easiest way is just to do this. We'll just pick Hinds County and see that there's going to be 2,000 properties popping up here. There's quite a few. This is the western side of Jackson, Mississippi, which is Hinds County. And we'll click on one so you can see an example. It's a vacant lot, and if we wanted to buy this from the Tax Forfeited Lands Department, we click on the link in Parcel Fair here and follow those instructions to the Mississippi application. Next up is Arkansas. So their auction season for 2023 is over. We are waiting on the 2024 schedule to be announced. There's been some confusion. Let me show you. This is the page where you would find the upcoming schedule. A lot of people are asking why we haven't put 2024 up. It's because these dates are 2023 dates. So the 2024 dates are not announced yet. We are keeping an eye on it, and you can check it here too. You can even look at next year's sale dates on this gray button, but it's not going to give you any lists. We can see the season is going to be, again, July through September, but no lists yet. So that's why you're not seeing them yet. In the meantime, you can absolutely buy over the counter. A lot of those new ones were added in the fall. Excuse me, 56 were added in January. And that's from the Commissioner of State Lands as well. If you wanted to just drill into some of these counties here. Let's just do Baxter County. Or maybe we won't do Baxter County. That is a GIS nightmare. Okay, Cleburne has one parcel, and it doesn't have a map. I'm striking out here. Maybe I should just... there. This county has 9 properties. So let's take a look at the first one here. It's just a vacant lot. And we can purchase by following these instructions to the Arkansas application, which will you'll be able to place a bid on that property to buy it directly from the state. Next up is Maryland. Not a lot to announce here. There are still a hefty amount of over-the-counter properties with 3 ways to buy. There's 2,682 OTC properties available to date. And if you want to see those, let's just switch over to Maryland, and then Baltimore City being the largest market there. And we're just viewing those parcels right now on the map. Remember, there are liens available, which will be in green as over-the-counters, and there are also opportunities with the Buy into Baltimore as kind of a land bank program type of thing. Those are in blue, and you would be clicking on this purchase option here to go follow those instructions and go to their website, which should load the application right there, and that's how you would bid on this property. Pretty straightforward in Baltimore City. Again, 3 ways to buy, but pretty soon we'll have some auction updates coming in the late spring for Baltimore City. South Carolina is quiet this time of year with the fall tax lien auctions completed. We tracked our first season at 14,000 properties. We do have OTCs coming soon, and if you just want to learn more about South Carolina auctions, there is a video for that on this channel. New Mexico is even quieter. There's literally nothing going on right now. We've been checking on those. We're never sure when those auctions are going to pop up, but we do have a video on those auctions if you'd like to check that out. And lastly, Oklahoma and Utah, also out of season right now. There are over-the-counter properties on for Oklahoma, for a few counties, more to come. And we've been putting a hold on OTC suggestions for Utah, mainly because we're just focused on these new auction seasons and bigger markets right now that seem to be more appealing for our users. But please, if you have any suggestions, send them over. And that is the end of this video. So thanks for watching. Hit us up in the comments if you want to chat or ask questions, and try out Parcel Fair with our 7-day free trial if you've not tried it yet. Thanks.